Welcome to the Sports Drink Club. I'm your host, Patrick Melton, along with my co-host, Keenan Duke. And we are at the legal age of drinking on our episodes, 21. What's going on, bro?
Not much, man. Just chilling. Got back from the gym a little bit ago, so ready to talk some sports.
Yeah. I'm sorry, bro. Talk some sports. Jeez, man. Where'd that voice come from?
I don't know, man. Just good old Texas accent. You know what I'm saying?
I figured it was from deep south, like Alabama or something. We're on talk some sports. It's like, all right, man.
I feel like I'm not too familiar with just like an Alabama accent, but obviously, just good old little bit of backcountry Texas. You know what I'm saying, man?
Trying to sound like Boomhauer from like King of the Hill or something like that, man. You're crazy, bro.
Yeah, sir.
How was your 4th of July?
It was good.
Shaky?
Actually,
was it shaky?
Yeah, it was shaky. Although there was like a bunch of earthquakes, but I missed like all of them except for one. There was only one that I felt. It was when I was in the gym. I was like working out, and I was just so happy to be sitting on the floor, and all of a sudden, like I start shaking, and I look around to see if anyone else is reacting to it. And no one's like noticing or taking into account anything. So like I kind of keep looking around. There's another guy sitting on the floor. He's on his phone. And he starts looking up, and he looks back at me, and I'm like, You feel that too? And he's like, yeah, earthquake. And I was like, huh, okay. And then we just went about our business.
I hear you, man. I actually talked to a lot of my coworkers who are still out there in California. Obviously, I've got to go out to California next week for work, so I'll be out there, and maybe we can record together live. And hopefully, there's no earthquakes. But they felt the earthquake all the way down in Orange County. So
yeah, I hope. And I was closer to the epicenter for like both of them, so that's kind of surprising that they felt it all the way down there.
I'm just wondering how everyone reacted at the gym. Did anyone even budge, or were people just like,
no?
Oh well.
I swear to God, I was like looking around and no one was paying attention to the earthquake. Like no one gave it any sort of mind.
Wow, man. People are out there working hard in the gym. Don't even mind that the earth is moving at the same time.
That's probably because they think that they're moving the earth with all that weight.
Wow. Well, I was gonna make a plug for King Size Gabe, but
I thought you were gonna do it too. I thought you were gonna go for it. I could have sworn. I swear I opened the door for you. I thought you were about to walk right through.
I was gonna have a plug for King Size Gabe, but he has made a mention on our episode ever since he's got on our episode. He has made the episodes. I mean,
every single time. I mean, he still made this one. He still plugged him in a bit, in a way. He still plugged him.
Anybody out there, man, who has not heard that episode for King Size Gabe, please go back into the archives and find that one. It was a Transformation Tuesday. It was a great episode. Please follow King Size Gabe because you will see some movement. I mean, some real movement of some weight. But
yeah,
we did have our 4th of July tournament. And
our
4th of July food tournament, and there was some tough matchups going up in the first round. And surprisingly, I did not think that these two foods would end up being everyone's favorites, but
I thought one of them would. I was kind of surprised that the main dish that won. The side dish, I was kind of expecting to win a little bit.
Okay. Well, the people voted. And as the main dish winner was barbecue brisket.
Yeah.
And the side dish winner was macaroni and cheese. So I want to know how many people actually had barbecue brisket and macaroni and cheese on 4th of July. Please email us.
I'm gonna be honest and say that I had neither. I wish I had. Both of those. Like if I was at a barbecue, I would hope that those two dishes would be available for me to eat.
100%.
But I went to the Dodgers game for 4th of July, so they're not gonna have that.
Did you sit out in right field and have all the hot dogs and popcorn and nachos and soda you can eat?
We sat in the pavilion like adjacent to it, so we didn't have that. But I wouldn't have ate the hot dogs anyway, so I would have had the nachos.
Yeah, had the nachos for sure. I mean, that's actually a really good little ballpark food right there.
Yeah, it's not bad. They
I,
actually got some pretty good food though. It's expensive, but it's not too bad. It's
Dodger
really
Dogs is expensive,
expensive.
bro. Dodger,
Everything's expensive.
I know. But maybe we should have a food tournament for ballparks.
Oh God.
What's your favorite ballpark food? Come on, let's vote. No,
That
but
actually does sound kind of interesting.
I mean, well, there was some tough opening round matchups, man. But Keenan, I need to ask you this, man, because you was really hyping up this food. What happened to corn, bro?
Man, corn got blown out the water, bro.
Corn
Corn
got
didn't stand a
blasted.
chance.
Corn
Corn did not stand a chance.
went up against chips and got absolutely
See,
raped.
but that's a tough one because Chips made it all the way to the semifinals.
Chips did make
It
it
lost
to the
out to the winner. It lost. Actually, Chips made it to the final, didn't it?
Chips made it to the final, bro.
Yeah. So Corn lost to the second place winner. You know what I mean? So
I felt like there was a lot of people who actually like corn.
There are, but like there's a lot of people who like chips. You being one of them.
What about potato salad though, man? I was really surprised that potato salad, man, did not get the nod over macaroni and cheese.
I was surprised it got as far as it did.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was surprised it got as far as it did, but I guess people like potato salad like
man.
that.
I guess brats got beat out, watermelon got beat out.
Yep.
Hot dogs got beat out.
Hey, it was nice to see. I thought the final for the main dishes was pretty good with hamburgers versus barbecue brisket.
Man,
because those are like hamburgers are like a staple for 4th of July. So I was like, I don't know if barbecue brisket's gonna make it, but it did.
Man, people out there, man, really like their barbecue brisket.
Yes, sir.
Well, it's probably because a majority of our listeners
are from Texas.
We got a barbecue brisket, man. Like, okay, all right, barbecue brisket it is. Okay, sorry.
sorry, man. Dang.
You live out in California long enough, man, you actually forget about how good the barbecue is here. And I can attest to that.
I know I kind of forgotten how good it tastes because I haven't had it in forever.
You haven't had it in forever?
Mm-mm.
I can't remember any. Okay, ever since I lived out there, I mean, there's barbecue chains, but there's not.
Yeah,
it's not
the same.
It's not the same. Yeah,
yeah.
I can agree with that. Anybody out there in California who's living, let us know if you know any good barbecue places. I know that there are a few listeners that are out in California right now. Let us know if there's any good barbecue places because I am headed to LA where I probably will be recording live with Keenan, and we would like to go eat some great barbecue. So let us know. We're trying to find the good places right here. But can I talk about something, please? Can I talk about my girl, Coco Gauff, 15-year-old phenom in the Wimbledon? She beat two really good athletes. Okay, one of them being her idol, Venus Williams, in 2 sets. I mean, bro, come on, man. 15.
Dude, she's impressive. She's impressive.
Did you get a chance to watch?
I did. I saw. I didn't get to watch the actual match, but I watched the highlights.
Yeah. What did you think?
And she's impressive. For 15 years old, she is very impressive. Like I was like, dang. And to watch her parents in the stands too. Kudos to them because job well done on raising your daughter and getting her so good at tennis as young as she is.
Absolutely. And
like her demeanor, like watching her and her mom, they seem like competitors, man. They seem like they trying to get after it. You know what I mean?
Well, if I read correctly, I mean, both of them were athletes in college, I believe. And I think her dad's got a sports bar back in Florida, if I'm not mistaken. And they had a huge watching party there. That was really cool. So the support that she's got is just unbelievable. But let's just put it this way. I understand that Coco was not only good at tennis, but she's also good at basketball. She was also good at track. She was also a cheerleader. She also played volleyball. So well-rounded athlete altogether. Tennis ended up being something that she had passion for. And obviously with her idols being Serena and Venus, her going up against Venus, Now, here's the thing, okay? And I don't want to take anything away from Coco whatsoever. And I'm not taking anything away from Coco, but just if I'm breaking it down, black and white, Venus almost 157 years old. I mean, let's
God dang.
got bad knees. I mean, she's on the verge. I mean, Coco went out there and did her thing. So if there's not Venus is old, man.
She is, but like at the same time, there aren't too many, if any, other 15-year-olds out there that can hold a candle to Venus. So, the fact that she can even hold her ground against Venus and on top of that beat her as a 15-year-old again, like that's insane. Yeah, like, that's crazy.
Yeah, and she also beat,
like, literally, you think about it, she's only like 10 years removed from kindergarten.
Wow. I never really
think
thought
about
of it that way. I never really thought
like
of
she's
it that
10
way.
years removed from kindergarten, and she just beat Venus Williams.
Yeah, and Venus Williams 10 years ago was 29.
You see what I'm saying?
I do see what you're saying. But she ended up losing. She ended up losing to Romania's Simona Halep, who
she's a beast too.
Yeah, she's a beast. She's 7th ranked in the world. Yeah, like I said, I know that we talked about this offline, a few times. I said I want her to keep going as far as I can, but there's just a point where you just kind of get outclassed. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think that's exactly what happened. I mean, she even said that she came out and I mean, she even said that she came out and said that she didn't feel 100%, but
I mean, there's nothing. She has nothing to hang her head about, because she went out there, did her thing. She put her name, on the map, and she, like I said, she's only 15, so the amount of improvement, like the potential that she has right now is just, exponential. So,
right.
It's going to be fun watching her throughout the next few years and whatnot, probably over the next decade.
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah, she's going to be around for a really long time, man. And she definitely did cement her place in history. And, she became the youngest player to make it to the second week of the Wimbledon since 1991. So remember the name, guys. Coco Gauff. She will be around for a really long time. And she was a pleasure to watch, along with all the other sporting events that were going on, as the women of the United States of America we win the World Cup again. Number 4. Yep. What's up, Keenan? Where you at?
Hey, congratulations to them. They deserve to win it, in all honesty. Like, they hands down the best team in the tournament. Like, there was no one that could, come close to them, really. I mean, in all honesty, the team that I felt actually probably gave them the toughest run was Spain. Mm-hmm. Outside of that, they kind of breezed through every single team.
I felt like France gave them some issues as well.
I thought France actually got handled a little bit. Like, they didn't. At no point during that game did I think, USA is in trouble. Like, I only thought that against Spain, and I thought it for a minute against England. Yeah. Those are the only two teams that I thought kind of threatened the United States at any point, because they never trailed in any match, not a single one.
Yeah, that's true.
That they trail.
Yeah, that's very true. If at worst case scenario, the other team tied them, but they never trailed at any point of the whole entire tournament. Fun fact about this Women's World Cup is that the USA have won half of the World Cups since it's been, since it started.
Yep, in 1991.
In 1991, when Coco. I'm just joking. Only other winners have been Germany, who's won twice, Japan, and Norway, who won, I believe, the very first World Cup. If I'm not,
the USA won. They won the second one.
They won the second World Cup. My bad.
Yeah.
That was really cool. Another cool thing about this World Cup is that all the way up until, I believe, the championship game, okay, the United States scored in the first 10 minutes or the first 15 minutes of every single match.
Yeah, I think you
Anybody
brought
out
that.
there?
I
What's
think you
up?
brought that up last on our last episode. Which, if you guys haven't listened to that episode, go back and listen to it because it's a lot of fun. But I think you brought that up in our last episode because you're like anyone, like whoever's placed bets on that, they've
That's
been
what I'm
winning.
saying. They've been winning. They've been winning. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. That was really fun to watch. I mean, you know, a lot of people had something to say, whether it be, analysts who were, saying that, maybe, the United States were being too cocky, or, Keenan Duke going out there and fighting, Twitter wars with people. At the end of the day, Keenan, we're the best, and
Yeah.
we
But here's the
absolutely.
thing. And here's the thing. I know a lot of people probably whoever listened or like knew about my thoughts on that very first USA game against Thailand. Here's
Are
the
you taking
thing.
it back? Are you taking it back?
No, not at all. Because I still believe that my stance is I'm still standing behind my stance. The only thing what I'm trying to say is that I have no problems with the celebrations, up until a certain point. Like I know a lot of people were giving um what's her name? Oh my god. The strike Morgan, Alex Morgan.
Alex Morgan.
Yeah, so I know a lot of people were giving Alex Morgan a lot of flack for when they beat England, but when she scored against England and she did her teacup sip, like
Right.
I thought that was hilarious. I thought that was great. Like I don't understand why she got flack for that because she shouldn't have. That was a great celebration. She's playing against England. It makes total sense. They're not blowing them out by any means. And even if they were, it's England, a very capable team. So no, I still stand behind my reason of why I got upset against the celebrations against Thailand after 10 goals. You know what I'm saying? But as far as them celebrating, I fully believe they should celebrate, just in the right context.
I gotcha. I gotcha. Well, here's the thing is that at the end of the day, we've got to wait another 4 years, okay,
I
for
know.
these guys to come play again. Also,
I'm excited because I think I think the other countries are starting to catch up. I think you caught a glimpse of that, even though the USA blew through all the teams. I think it was nice to see nations like Italy and Spain, even England, kind of rise up
it
and
was pretty
show.
much all European teams besides Brazil
Mhm,
that made the final 16. So
mhm.
at some point in time, I believe that there's going to be some other teams who are going to end up competing. But at this moment in time, we are the model and the blueprint to
Oh, for sure.
everything. So
Mhm.
I look forward to us winning again and again and again. But what I do want to talk about just real quick, Megan Rapone, she won. She won. I'm sorry. What was it? What was that?
Megan Rapinoe.
I'm sorry, Rapino.
Yeah.
You can erase that. What I do want to bring up is that Megan Rapino, she won the Golden Ball and the Golden Boot. Okay, purple hair and all.
Yep.
She clearly was, the best
I
player
love her. I
in the
love
tournament.
her celebration.
Oh, just her, just opening up her
Her
arms and being like,
her little
ah.
foot, like her ta-da. Like I love that celebration. It's gotta be to me, Megan Rapinoe, she's such a as much as I know that people might think that, I don't you would think that I don't like her because she's kind of out there. Like I think she's great. To me, she's almost like the equivalent of like Cristiano Ronaldo.
Mm-hmm.
Like as far as like she can handle the spotlight, she can handle the criticism.
Right,
She likes it and she almost thrives under those conditions. You know what
right.
I mean? And just like her celebration, she's kind of got like an iconic celebration now, similar to how Cristiano Ronaldo has his
Yeah, that's her.
celebration after
That's her
he
thing.
scores.
Yeah, that's her
Yeah,
thing for
so I
sure.
don't know. I like Megan Rapinoe a lot. She's dope.
Megan Rapinoe definitely was the backbone of this team.
Mhm.
She, obviously all these. I believe that this is obvious. It's got to be her last World Cup. I mean, I don't think that she's coming back after
Nah.
this year. You know what I mean?
Mm-mm.
So she went out on a bang, and she's definitely going to be missed. But the biggest thing that I want to talk about, the biggest controversy that kind of not can we call it controversial, or is it more just a topic of discussion?
What?
Um, that the women's team should get equal pay to the men's team. What do you think about that?
I mean, yeah, I think they should. I mean, they're just as good, if not better,
Right.
obviously. I think the only thing that kind of uh, sways the argument is that, yeah, the United States are better than the men's United States, but also, like, we know that the rest of the field for the men's is a lot tougher than I would say the field for women's. Whereas, like,
Exactly.
like USA got a late start in men's soccer compared to where USA and women's basically got a head start against the other field, against the rest of the nations for
Exactly.
for women. So it's kind of flip flop. But
Exactly.
obviously they deserve to get equal pay, and I mean, I got no issue with it.
Well, the thing is that, if you do equal pay for them, then what about all the other, national teams that are women? All the other
Mhm.
women national teams that may not even be close to being as good as their men's national team as far as success goes. So I guess that's where the I guess my issue lies is how can you can justify the US women's, okay? But what about all the other women's teams? If you do one, that means you have to do the others, right? Or at least if you increase the pay for the women here, can you justify that for Brazil? Brazil's women? Can you justify that for England's women? Can you justify that for Netherlands women? I don't know. I don't think so. If they were just as successful as, the US, then I think that you would be able to justify that. That's the hard part that I have is that I just don't think about the US women's soccer team. I think about any other national women's soccer team because if you increase the pay for the women here, then I feel like you have to do it all around the board. And I'm not saying that it's not that it shouldn't happen. Okay.
Mhm.
I believe that they should at least increase the pay. Now, as far as it being equal and all of that, I'm just going to go out there and just say yes because of the success factor, but all the other intricate details that go underneath it, as far as like ratings, as far as like competition, as far as other leagues that men or women play in, that's as much as you don't like it, you have to factor in all of that stuff too. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I'm just going to say, for the sake of argument, yes, I think that the women should have equal pay or at least increase the freaking pay because what they're getting paid right now in comparison to the men, I'm looking at a chart right now. Um, for the men, the players that the players pay for like each players paid for games that are won. The men get it like 17 grand. The women get 1,000, 1,500 bucks. I mean, come on. That's pretty ridiculous, don't you think? You know,
Yeah. I mean,
that's such a huge discrepancy that it's almost laughable.
yeah. I mean, for it to be that large, I think that's the bothersome part. I think if it was a little bit closer, maybe you would understand, just because I think, like you said, all those underlying factors that come into play with, the attendance for women's versus the attendance for men. Uh and just kind of who's watching which gender, I guess,
Mhm.
more than the other. So I think if the disparity wasn't so large, I don't know if it would be as big of an issue. But the fact that it is, I think that's what's making it such a like conversation where it's like, listen,
Right.
like, because I think maybe I don't know, maybe women would understand to a degree if it was like just like I said, like closer, like to where it's like, maybe I can see it. We're almost there, but not quite. But for it to be that big, it's like, whoa, whoa,
Right.
whoa.
I mean, I'm going to go out there and just say equal pay. Realistically, what I think is going to happen is that they're just going to get an increase. Okay. There's no reason why for a player's pay for the men for each loss is $5,000 and the player pay for a game loss for women is zero. They don't get a dime. The team pay for making the World Cup perform, like, the team pay for World Cup performance for the men, $68,000 and some change. Okay. For the women, 15 racks. I mean, dude, that's ridiculous. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just talking about player pay for a game win. $17,000, $17,500 for men, and $1,500 for ladies. That's wild, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, people are making that on a good day. I mean, you know what I mean? Just working regular jobs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's, to me, a little bit, that's too much, man. And as much money as there is out there, and as much, and as how popular this team is, not just in the United States, but in the world, there is no way that somebody should have a $16,000 discrepancy for games won, knowing that the women has had more success than the men, okay, and pretty much keeping USA Soccer afloat, if you ask me, in a lot of ways, or just interesting in that aspect. Not to say that we don't have good players, or not to say that the men haven't, been able to do some things here or there within the last decade, but it's the women's team that has been the most dominant and the most interesting and the most exciting to watch in the last
Yeah,
decade.
I mean that's on a national stage. You know what I mean? Like I
Right.
think our international stage. Because the thing is, you know, only people only pay attention to women's soccer when it's the World Cup or the Olympics, and
Right.
that's only every 4 years. So what you got every 2 years that people start paying attention to women's soccer. Outside of that, no one knows. That's why no one, for the most part, I'd be willing to bet, even though Megan Rapinoe, if you've been paying attention to soccer in the past, you know the name, but I guarantee you the masses didn't know who the hell Megan Rapinoe was until this year.
I feel you.
You know what I mean?
I feel you.
And so, whereas, while the men's, you know, they might not be as big on an international stage or successful, I'd venture to say that they at least keep things going as far as just on a yearly basis with the MLS, where people are continually showing up to those games and watching the men,
Right.
especially, you just take it to the account the success and the popularity of Atlanta FC, and how big that team has gotten. Like that's, they're watching guys. I don't know if they have a women's team or not, but you know, you got tons of Americans in Atlanta showing up to watch the men play. You know what I mean? So I think that's the one thing that's kind of a bit of a drawback against that argument to a degree.
Yeah. And I know the type of money that, soccer brings in, male soccer brings in, whether it be on an international level or whether it be on a club level. And I get that.
Gotta move this
Okay.
along.
But the discrepancy just needs to, it just needs to change a bit. I don't necessarily, you know, I don't agree.
Yeah, yeah, and a lot of people don't. I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I don't agree, but we can end up splicing and cutting that. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But let's go to the Gold Cup as the USA loses to Mexico 1-0 in the championship. Fun fact: since the tournament has been restructured in 1991, either Mexico or the United States have won the championship. Mexico with 8, USA with 6. The only other nation to win in that time is our good old friends from the North, Canada.
Mhm.
Raul Jimenez wins the Golden Ball, while Christian Pulisic is named to the Youngest Player Award in 2019, or for 2019. And when he took that award, he was not very happy at all. I mean, the
Why?
dude, he just didn't even smile. Like, he did not smile at all.
I mean, was he awarded that after the final?
Oh, absolutely. They always do
Well,
the
that's
awards right after
why.
the finals.
That's why, because he just lost.
I know. But Mexico
You're not
wins again. They're better than us. And
I mean,
they,
not by much. They've only won 2 more times than us.
well, I'm just letting you know right now, we actually brought out low key our A team, and they did
Yeah, and they
not.
didn't. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like that's the actual drawback against actually still losing to Mexico is the fact that they didn't have 3 of their striking, options, their best striking options, attacking options.
Yeah.
Um, to where we still lost to them. And that was kind of our A team,
Yeah.
basically.
I
That
think
was our
if
A
the
team.
World Cup started tomorrow, I
That's our
mean,
A team.
maybe one change here and there. Like,
Yeah.
nah, yeah. I don't
That's
know,
it.
man. Ooh.
But I
And
have to say, as a USA citizen and fan, I'm at least happy with the trajectory that the team seems to be on. Like I think they're moving in the right direction.
we got some young
So I'm
young
happy about
players,
that.
man. We got some young players, and I'm definitely excited to watch Christian this year for Chelsea just to see what he's going to do.
Mhm.
He's definitely our young talent, our young star that's overseas playing abroad right now and playing for a very large ball club,
Very
um,
large.
Chelsea FC, who are fresh off of a UEFA championship. Um, we'll see, man.
Yeah.
I'm totally excited to see what how that's going to turn out. But I was definitely sad to see Mexico just absolutely just taking over Soldier Field in Chicago. I mean, they took over
Yes.
that place.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was damn near Azteca.
But but there's low key a lot of Mexicans in Chicago. There is.
Well, they are in the traditional border wall game. Uh, they won. They
Yeah,
won this
yeah.
one right here, and
Yes, they did.
I know that there was a lot of people happy about that.
Mhm.
They may
Yeah.
not get this wall built, but they sure did they sure did beat America 1-0.
Yes, they did.
In other news for all of you football fans out there, Brazil has won the Copa America. Another fun fact about Brazil is that they have won 9 out of 9. Is that right?
No, no. Out of the 9 times that they've won it 9 times. And out of the
Hold
9
on, Keenan.
times.
So just start over. You do the fun fact.
Okay, so fun fact for Brazil, uh, winning the Copa America is the fact that they've won it 9 times. And out of the 9 times, 5 of those times they've scored 3 goals.
Wow.
So that's kind of like their winning number is 3 goals whenever they win the final. The only other times that they've won with 2 goals, they won with 7 goals, and then they won with 1 goal. But 3 is like their magic number with winning the Copa America.
Interesting. And Brazil
Yeah.
hasn't won the Copa since 2007 because Chile won the last 2, and that
Mhm.
gives them their 9th title, as Keenan mentioned before. Also, side note, Argentina underwhelms yet again, but does win 3rd place, and Messi got ejected out of the game after he got headbutted in the chest.
He got headbutted in the chest?
Okay, the dude did headbutt him in the chest, but he kept shouldering him in the chest, like
Uh-huh.
they were both going after a ball. I forgot who the dude was for Chile, but they were both going after a ball, and Messi had a beat on him, but
Mhm.
there's a little hand jocking going on, and maybe Messi, pulled his shoulder or something like that. But then the guy didn't like it, so he got in Messi's face, and they start kind of peacocking with each other. They're bumping chests. You know what I mean? They start peacocking with each other, bumping chests, and then they both got a red card and got ejected. End of story.
Dang.
Whatever.
I didn't know about that. I didn't hear that.
Yeah, was fun. But
That is
today
funny.
is the traditional fall classic for the MLB All-Star game. I mean, excuse me. Today is the day for the traditional summer classic for the MLB All-Star game. The home run derby was absolutely lit. Pete
It was.
Alonso crowned the champion over Vlad Jr., but let's just be honest, Vlad Jr. stole the show.
Oh, of course he did. That was like what he did. I was so impressed. Like, I don't know if did you watch it?
Yes,
Did you hear the sound the ball was
it
making
was different.
off of his
It
bat?
was different, bro.
I don't know if I've ever heard that before. Like, he swings with such violence and just the sound. Like, I was literally blown up. Like, not there's very few times that I've listened to a ball come off of bat and be like, "Holy crap!" You know what I mean?
There's
Like,
very
he was
few
just
people who
destroying
swing.
it.
There's very few people who just swing that violent. Like, I mean, just think about it. You saw last year's. You thought Bryce Harper swings freaking violent. Like,
Yeah, no, he's got nothing on Vlad Jr.
yeah, it's just a different stroke. You know what I mean? They're
And the
two.
fact that he didn't get tired, like the stamina that he has to sustain that swing for as long as he did, the man hit 91 home runs total.
I know.
Total, like that's insane.
That's
Like,
91 balls out there. The fans out there, man.
yeah, I mean, not to take anything away from Pete Alonso, but he only hit what 52
I know.
home runs total.
Mhm.
Like that's almost a 40 home run difference.
I know. And the thing
Like
is
that's
that
crazy.
Vlad's craziest round was honestly against Jock Peterson. That
Oh, that
was
was
by
the
far.
greatest match. That was the greatest face-off I've ever seen.
I know. I mean, shout out to Jock Peterson. I mean,
Oh
I know
yeah.
that we're all I know that we're all talking about Vlad, and I know that we're all talking about Pete Alonso, but Jock Peterson went out there and balled too.
Oh yeah. Jock Peterson, I would almost venture to say was almost more deserving to win it than Pete.
Yeah. In
Like
a
that to
sense.
me was like that to me should have been like the final round.
Yeah.
Because I like even if Pete Alonso hadn't hit, I'd have been like, I don't care. Whoever wins this is the champion.
And then, of course, Ronald Acuna Jr., he had his impressive display of just home runs, which I believe he hit 26,
He hit 25.
25 in the
He hit 25.
first round or whatever. But it was the
Yeah.
way that he hit the 25 as he just could go any direction he wanted to go. But go ahead.
No, he was just like spraying it all over the place. That was the thing that was most impressive about his round of home runs was the fact that no matter where the ball was kind of pitched to him, he would just go with it. Like if it was kind of pitched a little bit outside, he'd just take it the other way. You know, if it was down the middle, he'd just take it straight center.
Mhm.
Inside, he'd pull it. So it wasn't just like watching a yank fest, you know what I mean? Where he's just all like yanking them down the line, you know, pull side. You know, he was basically displaying his power like, hey, I can hit home runs wherever the heck I want to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, Vlad,
Like, so that was very impressive.
well, Vlad Jr., man, he is not built like a Greek god by any means, but he's got a Greek god-like swing. Okay.
Yes, he does.
The dude looks like
What does he look like?
he just looks like he looks just like a regular Joe, bro. Like with dreads, like he looks like somebody that would be bagging groceries or something like that. He doesn't look athletic at all.
Yeah.
Okay. He's just kind of in his baggy clothes.
He's got a certain doughy quality to him for sure.
He's very doughy.
Yeah, he's got a little doughy quality to him. But the fact is, the man can crush a baseball. And I loved watching the replays with his dreads, like in slow motion, just kind of like whipping around, just like. Like I thought it was the greatest sight I've ever seen.
Yeah, that dude, man, can hit, man. And since they've changed to this new format, I definitely love it a lot more. Considering that there was some great home run derbies before in the past. Don't get me wrong. There was some great performances. But this new style of it being timed and just having the pressure of, okay, I've got 3.5 minutes to hit, as many home runs as I can. I think that that's a lot cooler than, trying to count outs and because then you have to be
head-to-head type too, so it adds that other element of like competitiveness where it's also like a head-to-head matchup. Like you got to beat this guy in order to advance. And so it's like, like you say, like the first guy who's going, he's got 3 minutes. He has no idea what the next guy behind got, like he probably can, because he's got to set the bar. And to a degree where like the first,
you're cutting out terribly.
Where was I cutting out at?
Like at the whole thing.
And do I sound okay now?
Yeah, you sound okay now. I was talking about how I like the new format, and then just start from there.
And I was saying, like, I think the format that they have now just adds to the competitive, adds to the competitiveness a little bit more, where it's got the head-to-head factor, where you got one guy he's got to beat the person that he's facing off against in order to advance. You know what I mean? It's not just like a round of like how many home runs that this person hit. Like, I got to beat this guy. So it's almost similar to cricket in a way, where it's like the first guy's got to set the bar on how many home runs he hits and how many, like, to where the second guy who bats, he's got to top that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's like pretty interesting, and I think that's done, a good thing for the home run derby, that added factor of just like head to head and timed.
Absolutely. And you're just only focused on that one person. You're not focused on the field. Now, I would like to see them flip flop, because I like the timed thing. I think the timed home run deal kind of is a constant, but I would like to see them flip flop, like where they could go from head to head one year, and they could just go the top 4 one year, or whatever it may be. I mean, I don't really think that that's going to be a difference or whatever, but you get the top 4, and whoever hits the most home runs out of the, like you get 8 people, whoever hits the most home runs, top 4 goes, whoever hits the most home runs, top 2 goes, and then it's head to head at the end, or whatever it may be. I could see it. I'd be totally fine with that as well. So
yeah,
it doesn't really matter to me as long as it's timed. Okay.
I think what would be cool. I think what would be cool is if they had it set up into like a bracket, to where you can kind of guesstimate like who you might be going up against. Exactly. And what happens is you keep track of, you almost have like a home run total, because it was kind of a shame to see like all those home runs go to waste for Vlad, to where like if Pete would have had to known that, like, okay, no matter what, like, even though I'm trying to beat this guy's home run total, I'm also trying to keep pace with this other guy from, who I'm probably going to have to, if I beat this guy, I'm going to have to face off against him and match his home run total.
Exactly.
So it's like almost like you got to keep track of like not only the person you're immediately facing, but who you could potentially be facing.
Exactly.
So I think if it was like a home run total type thing plus head to head, I think that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I think that they've got a lot of potential to mix it up if they want. And I don't think that anybody's going to really care about how the format is, as long as it's timed. You know what I mean? And having a timeout and all of that, I think that's really cool. I think that's perfect for just viewership purposes. And you get to see more home runs, bro. You get to see more swings. You get to see more people go after it. You know what I mean? Because they're not worried about hitting outs. They're just worried about how many home runs they can hit in a matter of time. So
exactly. So it has people just swinging away. Yeah, exactly.
I love that aspect of it. But there was an all-star game tonight. I believe the American League won 4-3. Your boy Joey Gallo, who strikes out a lot, did hit a home run tonight.
Yes, he did.
Just your general thoughts on who made it. Who's been the surprise of this season, and why isn't the All-Star game as interesting as all the other ones? Why isn't anybody watching it? I mean, it's on a Tuesday. Who's watching it right now, bro?
I think a lot of people watched it.
Yeah.
I'd be willing to bet a lot of people watched it.
More than the home run derby?
No. I think people started tuning into the home run derby because they started hearing about how exciting it was. Like, I think if you weren't watching the home run derby yesterday and you heard about it, you tuned in. Whereas, like, if you heard about the All-Star game, you probably didn't tune in if you weren't already doing it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I would venture to say more people might have watch the home run derby over the All-Star game, but I don't know. I still think the All-Star game, out of all the All-Star games out there between the big sports, I think baseball is probably still the best one out there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like the Pro Bowl for football for the NFL.
I can't stand the
Garbage.
Pro Bowl.
I don't even. Is there a hockey NHL? I'm sure there
Yes,
is.
there is a hockey NHL All-Star game now, and how they've done it now, they've made it like 3-on-3, so you see like more scoring, which is it's kind of cool. Like it's kind of cool.
It's more like backyard.
Yeah, exactly. Is it more popular than? Okay, is it more popular than the NBA All-Star game? Me personally, I don't think it is, because the NBA All-Star game is usually on a weekend where everybody's like, not working.
Well, and that's the thing. Like they make the whole All-Star thing like an event, like it's All-Star weekend. You know what I mean? Like you said, like it, and people, they, like you said, they take off work, they go, and it's always in the same place, right?
No, it's not. Miami? No, it's not always in Miami. It should be, but it's not always in Miami.
I don't know why I thought that.
Because all All-Star games should be in Miami, to be honest with you. All Super Bowls should be in Miami too.
But anyway, like, yeah, people like literally take off work, and like our NBA All-Star weekend is huge. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But as far as, so in that regard, yes, I would agree with you that the NBA All-Star game is probably the most popular game out of all the sports. But just for me, and I don't know if this is because, I tend to lean more baseball than basketball.
Right.
But for me, I just think like watching, if I had to watch the two, I would probably watch a baseball one over the basketball, because like watching basketball one, like you can tell that they're not really trying. It's just kind of like this free for all, like, let's put the ball in the bucket at super ease, to where it's like you're not really watching the players give their best and like give their all playing basketball.
They don't start playing into the fourth quarter, you know what I mean?
Exactly. In the school play, so it's not that, to me, that exciting, to where it's like with baseball, even though it's an all-star game, just the sport inherently, you have to try. Like you can't not try in baseball.
That's right.
A pitcher has to try and strike somebody out, or or else he's gonna get hit, and no pitcher wants to get hit. And same thing, as the batter, like you have to try and hit the ball. Like you can't just half-ass an at bat. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And there's implications to it. They get, whoever wins gets, home field advantage, for the World Series, which to me personally,
I think that's whack.
I think it's whack too. I mean, you sit there playing, you like, if you're playing on a last place team and you happen to be on the All-Star team, and your side ends up winning, like, how is that going to benefit you if your team's not even in the World Series? So I don't know. Yeah. Maybe they'll fix that a little bit later on down the line, but
I think they should.
Yeah, I think they should too. But for the 90th Midsummer All-Star Classic, it did go down tonight. The American League wins again. But
what was it, their 7th straight year doing
so? But it doesn't matter. Because most of the teams who've won in the last few years have been National League teams anyway. So
this is true.
It doesn't. It's not like it really matters in the end of the day. Whoever. Yeah, it plays a factor in a sense, but it doesn't really play a big factor. I don't think so. But anyways, moving on. NBA free agency, man, has been absolutely crazy. As anyone hasn't heard yet, Kawhi Leonard is with the Clippers. So is Paul George. Yep. Russell Westbrook may be on the move, going to the Heat possibly, and he would join Jimmy Butler. But it comes down to this, Keenan. I want to ask you something, man. Who's your favorite to win the NBA championship? Who do you like? If you just want to put a sweet tea on something.
A sweet tea? We haven't done those in a while.
I know. And
I feel like those have eluded us.
They haven't, because baseball season's not over yet, bub.
This is true. It's still ongoing. It's still ongoing.
Baseball season's not over yet, so we still
Yeah.
have some time.
Yes, we do. Sweet tea bet for who's gonna win early takings. Wow, this is super early. Mm, you know what? I'm just gonna go fan favorite just because of recency bias. I'm gonna say the Clippers.
All right, the Clippers it is. So I'm gonna take the late. I'm
And I
gonna
like
take
the
the.
Clippers. They're like my favorite NBA team
Okay,
out of
that's
any
fine.
team.
That's fine. We're gonna do this. Okay, we're gonna go with the Battle of LA. You're going with the Clippers. I'm going with the Lakers. Okay,
What?
and I'm not even a Laker. I'm not even a Lakers fan like that. We're just gonna go Battle of LA. All right.
Okay.
Whoever wins the most
Well, do you
games.
want to do something different where we do a separate one that's just a battle of LA, which LA team's the better team?
Yes,
And then we can do a separate one where who do we actually think is going to win the
the
championship, the
NBA
finals?
championship. I'm going long shot. I'm going with the Warriors again to get back.
Okay.
Somehow they're gonna wiggle their way back in there, even though everybody doesn't think that they're gonna go back. I think they're
Hmm.
gonna wiggle their way back in there and shock everybody. Um,
Okay.
even though I don't think it's gonna happen, but I'm just gonna venture off and just say that it will. Okay. But
Okay.
Battle of LA, whoever wins the most games against each other, okay, head to head,
Okay.
Lakers and Clippers. Two sweet teas.
Okay. 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 I'm just gonna throw some. I'm gonna throw a couple long shot teams out there just for just straight up dart throws.
Okay.
Just and I'm not saying win the NBA finals, but just to do well and potentially make it there and possibly win. I'm gonna go ahead and say the Pelicans with Zion.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my god. You're crazy.
I'm gonna say the Pelicans.
Wow.
And I'm gonna say if Russell Westbrook goes to the Heat, I'm gonna say the Heat
Wow.
with Jimmy Butler.
Man, that'd be the first time. Wow, that would actually be crazy if Russell Westbrook went to the Miami Heat. They would shake up the whole East.
Hmm.
And you know what? It's not very far-fetched if he does go to the Heat that they could make the NBA finals. That is not out of question whatsoever, considering that the East is wide open right now,
Yep.
that there's no LeBron, there is no Kevin Durant right now since he is with
There's
the
no
Brooklyn
Kawhi
Nets.
Leonard.
There's no Kawhi Leonard. Yeah, that's very, very possible. And hey, that's not a bad guess. That's if Russell Westbrook goes to the Miami
Yes.
Heat.
If.
But we've
Yes.
got a lot more to discuss, man, this week. I'm
I
glad
mean,
that
I
we
heard.
got together here, man.
Hey, but before we go, I mean, you had a little plug that you wanted to put in there with our man Stephen A. Because Stephen A. was hot again. Our man Stephen A. got a little upset again.
Yes, he did.
We talked about it a little bit in our last episode, and we didn't put it in. We got to put it in on this
Yes,
episode.
we did.
We
Yes,
got to
we
hear our man
did.
Stephen A. get hot.
Okay, so as you all know, okay, I'm a big fan of Stephen A. Smith, but I'm also a bigger fan of Stephen A. Smith getting upset and mad. This is the same guy who has brought you Stay Off the Weed. Okay, he has done that that's probably his most famous line, to be honest with
Oh,
you.
of course. Oh yeah, by
But
far.
yes, I do like Stephen A, but I like it better when Stephen A gets pissed off. Okay.
I
And
mean, Stephen A. pissed off is great. You know, it's even better than Stephen A. pissed off. Stephen A. pissed off. Baby emoji.
yes,
Baby filter.
baby filter off Snapchat. Yes. Stephen A
Baby
getting
filter.
pissed off baby filter is by far the best. Okay. He goes, and Lamar Odom couldn't stay off crack. I love that part. Oh my gosh. All right. So this is Stephen A. Smith after he found out that the Brooklyn Nets are not only getting Kyrie Irving, but they're also getting Kevin Durant. And the New
Mhm.
York Knicks aren't getting a dang thing.
Needed a few minutes to gather my composure. Somehow, some way, I'm just trying to just hold it together, you know. Lifelong Knick fan. Years of mediocrity. I thought this was gonna be it at least weeks ago. And then when I was doing First Take, and we were in Oakland, and I got word about Kyrie in Brooklyn, realizing that meant KD in Brooklyn, realizing that the New York Knicks were gonna go without anything. $70 million in cap space. Porzingis gone. Porzingis can't be gone. And we don't get KD, and we don't get Durant and Kyrie, rather. No way. This can't happen. This can't happen. But it happened. The New York Knicks. With KD on the market, Kyrie on the market, Clay, Kemba, Jimmy Butler. They can't get somebody coming out to Square Garden. But because Brooklyn's got Sean Marks, and because Brooklyn's got Kenny Atkinson, and because Brooklyn has Live Nation, and they're Brooklyn, in 3 years, the Brooklyn Nets have accomplished what we've been waiting for the New York Knicks to pull off for a half century.
A half century. And Knick fans out there who's listening, Knick fans out there who are listening right now, I don't feel your pain. Okay. I just feel Stephen A's.
Stephen A speaks for all Knicks fans.
Yeah, I don't feel sorry for them damn Knicks fans, man.
Why are you hating on Knicks fans like that, man? What they do to you?
No, because they just talked a lot of noise. Oh, we're going to get Zion, and we're going to get KD, and we're going to... Nah, you didn't get anything. All you're doing is providing great content for us because we like getting Stephen A hot. We like hot Stephen A. We love seeing Stephen A just pissed. And the reason, and here's, let me peel back another layer of this onion on why I like seeing Stephen A so mad. It's because he hates and despises Cowboy fans. Well, you know what? That's karma for you, buddy. You get to lay in misery as the Knicks stink it up for the next year and the year after and the year after. Ha ha.
Dang. My man Pat coming after Stephen A hard. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the vengeance of a Cowboys fan right there. Dang, he just been listening to Stephen A this whole entire time, talk nothing but trash about Cowboys fans, and now he's finally got his chance to come back at Stephen A. The comeuppance is here.
That's exactly right. It's because you want to come to Dallas before, and do your shows here, for, before our football games and try to ice our team and you're wearing Aaron Rodgers jerseys or you're wearing cowboy hats or you're wearing Saints jerseys or you're doing whatever it is to try to ice our team. You like coming to Dallas, Stephen A. Don't lie. Okay. You like coming to Dallas, Stephen A. But since you did all of that and you want to, you despise our disgusting fan base that you call the Dallas Cowboys. Well, guess what? Your New York Knicks are steady losing. Ha ha.
Dang. All right. I like that.
Where can the people find us, Keenan?
You know what? Stephen A can find us on Apple Podcasts. He can find us on Stitcher. He can find us on Spotify. Stephen A, you need to listen because I kind of want to see you and Stephen A go at it a little bit after that. You think you can hang with Stephen A?
You know what? I would love to call his show and just say, Stephen A, I'm not even going to sit here and just try to break down or analyze any sports. I just want to say, there's a reason why your New York Knicks are the way that they are right now is because you keep attacking the Cowboys fan base, and it's karma. It's karma. Goodbye, Stephen A.
Just hang up on him. Just drop the phone.
Your misery with the Knicks will end once you stop hating on our fan base.
That's never gonna happen.
I know.
He will forever hate on them.
I know,
And that's
man.
because he can't dare side with Skip Bayless.
Oh, he can't side with Skip Bayless, or he can't side with his new guy, Max Kellerman. You know, so
Yeah.
hey, it is what it is. It's whatever. But if anybody wants to hear any other topics, please email us at sportsdrankclub@gmail.com. That's sportsdrankclub@gmail.com. That's sports DRANK club@gmail.com. But this is our 21st episode, 21. And we are
21.
and we are wrapping up. Keenan, we'll see you next
Yes.
time, bub.
All right, man. You
Drinks
drinks up.